Hey everybody, it's Tony the Big T Bariatric, and I'm back with another video. Today it is Thursday, March 23rd. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. If you could do me a huge favor, please hit the subscribe button down below as we push forward to 5,000 subscribers. I greatly appreciate it. Leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this video. So today I found another Dr. Phil clip. Actually, this time it's an entire episode, so I'm probably going to cut this in half and make two parts out of it. You guys really liked the first Dr. Phil video that I did, so I thought I would find an entire episode, and this one is very interesting as well. It's called The Psychological Weight of Obesity, and there's another woman on here who's an unapologetic fat girl. And so, yeah, we will see what this is all about. Let's get into it right now.
Today on an all-new Dr. Phil, when body positivity
I am an unapologetic fat girl.
becomes dangerous.
There is a point where it can compromise your health.
We're not something that needs to be fixed.
I was actually 715 pounds. I had to lose weight or I was going to die.
And Brooke Burke's personal battle.
We might as well get this out on the table now, although it's still painful.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
Today is going to be a changing day in your life.
5, 4.
Get ready to take care of you. Well, I'm going to tell you some things today that
This must have been during the pandemic. I think he started showing that screen with people watching during the pandemic, and everybody's got masks on, except for him. So,
I bet are going to shock you. Every year, it's estimated that 45 million Americans go on a diet and spend $33 billion on weight loss products. Yet, nearly 2/3 of Americans are overweight or obese. Now, the pandemic
2/3 of Americans. That's hard to fathom. 2/3 of Americans are overweight or obese, and it's a growing number. So people who think that the fat positivity movement and all that stuff is some small minority of Americans, while most of us are overweight. So I'm not saying all of us are part of that movement, but it just gives you sheer numbers of people and how fast it's growing, because more people would probably rather join that movement than, because they just give up, right? And so the fact that $33 billion is spent on weight loss products shows that there's a lot of people still trying to lose weight, but they're trying to get in with doing it the wrong way, because they keep finding a fad, or they see this ad on TV that promises this new way of doing it, and so they keep spending money and money and money trying to lose weight instead of just doing it the right healthy way. They want the quick fix, they want the magic pill, and they just keep failing at it and keep getting bigger and bigger as a result.
effects on America's waistline, well, it's not been easy. As the U.S. is the 10th most obese country in the world.
Well, I would think we would be the number one, but I think that's kind of, I don't know if our population has anything to do with it, because we have over 350 million people living here. But the fact that 2/3 of that number are obese, I would think we would be close to number one, but I don't know what number one is.
In addition to physical changes, numerous studies have shown an association between obesity and various mental issues, depression, eating disorders, anxiety, and substance abuse. So we're going to take a closer look at the psychology of obesity. And in this new age of body positivity, which focuses on the acceptance of all bodies regardless of shape and size, is there such a thing as taking those beliefs too far?
I mean, I think that's great. I know I've paused a lot already. I'm going to let a lot of this play, so don't worry. But the psychology of obesity, I've been meaning to cover this topic in more depth, because a lot of people just think it's easy. A lot of skinny people who have never had to lose a pound in their lives just think it's easy to just go on a diet. but they don't realize the psychology of it, that obesity itself causes additional depression and anxiety and even substance abuse.
Take a look.
The average American is nearly obese at this point.
Body positivity. The movement was created to offer an inclusive community for those of all sizes.
A huge part of my acceptance is using the word fat and really owning it.
Lizzo straight up drops the mic on all the body shamers.
Model Ashley Graham, she's gorgeous, she's fun, and she does not shy away from the spotlight.
I've had clients tell me, you're too fat and we can't book you because you don't fit into the jeans.
It's impossible to feel good about yourself when you're doing something that's self-destructive. A health at every size is a lie, so there's nothing left to debate. Maybe. It's not beautiful, and I think calling what gets people to that point beautiful is dangerous and really cruel.
Well, Amanda says she used to believe you could be healthy at any size until she experienced a life-threatening wake-up call.
Before she gets started here, that's exactly what it takes. That's what so many people who are in this movement believe. Like, there's no problem with it. There's no illnesses. It's perfect. It's great. I'm just owning myself. I'm owning my beauty. I'm taking back control of, instead of being involved in this just diet culture, toxic diet culture, I'm just going to love myself. But then what happens? You have that rock bottom moment that snaps you out of it. And really, you can't convince these guys, no matter how hard you try to tell them and get it through their thick head, that what they're doing is dangerous to themselves and is dangerous to other people because they see this obnoxious behavior and they want to follow it themselves. They're just not going to believe it. They're actually making money doing this. They're making money being part of this movement. So they're not going to stop until they have that rock bottom moment and they're near death. And that's really sad because some of them actually die. They have that rock bottom moment and it kills them and they don't get a second chance. You'll be lucky if you do get a second chance.
I was morbidly obese my entire life. At night, when everyone would go to bed, is when I would binge eat. I would literally eat the stuffing out of my pillow at night just to get that feeling. When I was almost...
She ate the stuffing out of her pillow just to be filled. Really? I haven't gotten that far yet. I haven't been that hungry. But you ate the stuffing out of your pillow. That's interesting. And I'm not making fun of her for that, but that just really goes to show what kind of psychological stuff there is there.
800 pounds. You are lucky to be able to stand up long enough to walk to the bathroom. Morbidly obese people are the largest people in any room, yet we are the most invisible. Telling people that you can be 500 pounds and be healthy is dangerous. It's irresponsible, and it's not something that I would ever agree with. I've had people telling me that I'm a traitor to the plus size community because I post my before and after pictures, and I am sending the message that I was not good enough before, and that's not true. If you don't love yourself, you're not going to care enough to make changes to better yourself. I lost 500 pounds. I would be dead had I not lost weight.
I mean, that's what I say all the time, is if you are that size and you decide you want to stay that size, you are not happy. You are committing self-hatred. You are abusing yourself. And yet so many bigger people come in here and challenge me on that and say, well, I'm 450 pounds and I'm healthy. You need to stop projecting your misery on other people. It's like, you're not happy. Look deep down inside yourself. You are not happy at that size.
Well, joining us virtually is Amanda, and also joining us on stage is Dr. Michael Gorin, professor of pediatrics at the Keck School of Medicine at USC, and author of Sugar Proof, The Hidden Dangers of Sugar That Are Putting Your Children's Health at Risk and What You Can Do. Thank you both for being here. Now, Amanda, why did you call yourself, quote, functioning fat, and how were you living before you had weight loss surgery?
I call myself functioning fat because I was always obese. That's all that I knew. I didn't know a life of not being overweight. And I had a full-time job at a hospital. I walked around, I drove, I had an upstairs apartment. I lived day to day. And yes, I had aches and pains, but on paper, I was healthy. I didn't have high blood pressure. I didn't have those things. But what I didn't realize is my body was in such bad shape that one accident, my body was not able to recover from that, and it made me spiral downward very fast.
That's exactly what it was like for me, because I was always big. And I've said before, I was big since I was 5 years old. I don't remember a time in my life where I wasn't overweight. And so, yeah, you can grow up being overweight and just kind of getting used to that idea, and you can still be functional because your body has adapted to that. It's different if you just gained a couple 100 pounds really, really fast. Like, you get used to it and your body kind of adjusts to it. And so you can be healthy at that time. You can have no medical problems on paper. You can have no blood issues, no high blood pressure, no diabetes. I never had any of that. But your body is slowly breaking down in ways that you don't realize yet. And it takes something like an accident. It takes something like getting older and then suddenly your knees stop working, or you're just in a tremendous amount of pain. You know, just doing very little small things for you to start realizing, wow, this has been an accumulative effect over years, maybe even over decades, till you get to the point where your body just starts giving out on you. And once it gives out on you, that's it. You get one body, one. And medical science is not good enough yet that it can do anything about it other than weight loss surgery. If you need emergency surgery, if you get into an accident and you need some kind of care, your body is not going to be able to recover from that. That's the hidden danger there. You think you can be healthy, you think you're fine, you think you got years and decades to live, but when your body starts breaking down, or if an emergency happens, or you get into an accident or something like that, or even if you fall down, you are in danger.
Well, doctor, let's talk about this a little bit, because in this day and time, people talk about body positivity, body shaming, but is there a point where you have to stop thinking about aesthetics and start thinking about health?
Yes, I think absolutely. I think there's probably too much focus on just weight. I mean, obesity is defined as an excess body weight, but it's to the point at which it affects chronic disease like type 2 diabetes, heart disease. So we really have to think about where the body is storing fat and how that fat is affecting organ function. For example, if fat begins to infiltrate into the liver, which is a relatively new condition called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, then it can affect health.
When you say non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, we're seeing a tremendous increase in this among children.
That's right, yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's very interesting. Children are getting non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. That's another thing that takes time. Like, you're not going to immediately go from having a healthy liver to getting cirrhosis. Like, it takes time. That's years and years of fat buildup in your liver, and it stops working like it should. And it gets sludged, and it gets, all kinds of issues and problems start happening. You start producing all these enzymes that your doctor can test in your urine whether or not your liver function is doing well. It's blood or liver. I mean, it's blood or urine. I think it's urine, but yeah, your doctor can tell whether or not your liver is healthy by the enzymes it produces. And it's like shooting out warning signs, like there's something wrong, there's something wrong, there's something wrong, and your doctor can tell that by doing a urine test. And it just takes time and time, but once your liver starts going into cirrhosis, there's absolutely nothing they can do about it. You can stop and you can start losing weight, and that losing weight will help your liver get healthy, because the first thing that starts losing weight when you go on a health journey like that is the liver. The fat starts going away in the liver first. So that's one of the things that you can do, but it can take up to 6 months to go from a fatty liver to a more normal, healthier liver. But yeah, once you start going into cirrhosis, it's not like you're going to be able to go in and get another liver. Because if you're obese, you're not going to get another liver. You're going to be denied from the transplant committee. So again, that's another hidden danger there. Your liver is going to start failing on you. And the fact that kids are getting it now, that just shows how desperate the situation is.
It wasn't even a disease 10 or 15 years ago. Most liver disease was due to alcohol. Now it's non-alcohol, and the non-alcoholic contributor to liver disease is sugar, actually.
Also, there's a
sugar.
point where Amanda, you couldn't get an MRI or be a candidate for surgery if you needed it, correct?
Right. I was actually at 715 pounds. I was diagnosed with endometrial cancer, and I could not get treatment for it. And I was not able to do radiation because the weight limit on the radiation table was 550, and I was over that.
I mean, that's very interesting, too, because if you get cancer, which being obese, you have a higher risk of developing cancer, they can't even treat that cancer for you because you're too big to fit on the radiation table. There's no way that they can treat you. There's no way they can do surgery and get the cancer out of you. There's absolutely nothing medical science can do to fix you. So there's another hidden danger that you're not aware of.
Okay, so what did they tell you at that point? What were your options?
That I had to lose weight or I was going to die.
Why are we seeing this epidemic at this point? What's causing it?
Clearly, the shift has been in the last 30, 40 years as we've shifted our food environment to a much more rapidly available, lower quality, cheap processed food, coupled with a much more sedentary lifestyle.
You think people are eating more sugar than they should?
Yes.
And most people don't have any idea all the different sources that they're getting sugar from.
That's right. And 70% of foods in the grocery store, packaged foods, contain some type of added sugar. And
Yeah, I've talked about this a lot, how I thought I was doing well when I started a diet and I bought a bunch of yogurt, but I couldn't stop eating that yogurt, and I didn't realize that it just packed all kinds of sugar in there. And so my brain was just kept, oh man, this is so great, and I kept running to it. Like, yeah, 70% of the packaged food in the grocery store has sugar in it. I mean, it's just ridiculous the amount of things that they put sugar in. You can't even buy some types of ground beef anymore because they put bread and other fillers in it like that to give it more bulk and stuff like that. So it's like, and bread converts to sugar. So carbohydrates convert to sugar. So, I mean, it's just, that's a ridiculous amount of sugar in food, 70%. And they do it like that so you can keep coming back to it. Oh, this is great. It made me feel good. I want to keep buying that. That's awesome. I mean, like, I bought a bunch of corn dogs one time thinking, oh, I can just have a corn dog and, you know, that'd be a good lunch or whatever. And then I looked at it, it's packed with sugar. Like, you would be amazed at the stuff that has sugar in it these days.
there's now over 250 names on food labels that could be sugar.
Right.
And that's another point. They get away with it because they don't call it sugar on the label. So you look at it saying, oh, well, this doesn't say it has sugar on it. But there's 200 different names that they use for sugar. So it might even say sugar, but then they might also have another name for another type of sugar right next to it. So you don't even realize all the names for sugar that they use on the labels to get around it.
Let's look at some of these sugar statistics because these are shocking. Colonials ate 4 pounds of sugar per year. 4 pounds per year. In the year 2000, the average individual was eating 150 pounds of sugar per year. That's 37.5 times more than what we were eating during colonial times.
That's right. The average person in the U.S. is eating a 2-pound bag of sugar every 5 days.
Okay, let that soak in for a minute. An average person, you and me, are eating what? A 2-pound bag of sugar every 5 days.
Yeah.
Raise your hand if that surprises you. Yeah, that surprises everybody, which means this is sneaking up on people, right?
Yeah,
now,
it is.
We're going to add somebody to the conversation after the break. A celebrity TV host, fitness expert, and most importantly, a mom. Now, why the topic of obesity hits home for her. Plus, she branded herself on social media as being unapologetically fat. We'll add these two people to the conversation next.
I've always been a big person, and we're taught that being fat is bad. That's just wrong because plus-size people shouldn't be ignored. I am an unapologetic fat girl, and you can take it or leave it.
Tomorrow.
You don't do things right the first time.
Is she his wife or
how much you weigh or this hot girl summer bikini body thing. I don't really even like that. I think it's about energy, and I think it's about immunity, and I also think it's about, really, honestly, that accomplishment.
Mind, heart, body, soul. You know, I used to think that I was working out.
And if you haven't listened to that episode, trust me, you should. Brooke Burke is a celebrity host, fitness expert, and CEO of her own fitness app, Brooke Burke Body. Now, while Brooke says she encourages women to sweat smart to transform their bodies, not everyone feels the same. Here's what Abby has to say.
Pardon me, I'm just getting comfortable here as I sit here. I know it's going to be another little bit before this video is done, so forgive me for moving around.
I've always been a big person. I struggled with my weight since my childhood.
At the age of 14, I was about 200 pounds.
I had this personal trainer that was not very nice. They would tell me if I wanted friends, I needed to lose weight, that no one would ever love me if I'm fat. They would weigh me, so I would make myself puke before every session so that I weighed less on the scale. That really messed with me as a kid. I did lose weight. I probably lost over 100 pounds, and I was 200, 250, but it didn't solve any of my problems.
And I was still unhappy, even though I had the body everybody always wanted.
Diet culture really bothers me. Fat people are not portrayed well in the media. And we're taught that being fat is bad, and movies were always the best friend or the brunt of the joke. The internet is not a good place to talk about that because people hate fat people. The whole problem of body positivity is not just how the world views you and like how you view yourself. It's about fighting for people not being discriminated in the workplace, in fashion, in anywhere, because we're treated as second-class citizens, and that everyone's main goal in life is to be skinny.
That's just wrong because plus-size people shouldn't be ignored.
Just because you're thin doesn't mean you're better than me. Moving your body is important, but it doesn't have to be about losing weight. It can just be about feeling good.
I am an unapologetic fat girl. I am who I am, and you can take it or leave it because I'm always going to be happy with myself.
All right, so some of what she said there, I actually kind of agree with some of it. Now, hear me out here. The fact that she was sort of abused by a personal trainer who told her nobody's going to love her, she doesn't lose weight, and, you know, she just sort of felt like she needed to puke, throw up, to get on the scale and reach a goal, like, that's unhealthy. And it's no wonder that at a young age, she was facing that kind of stuff that forced her in the wrong direction. I mean, there's a reason why a lot of people join the fat positivity movement, and it's not because they're lazy, and it's not because they just don't want to lose weight. Like, a lot of them, yeah, that's why. But a lot of them also face stuff like this, because it is true. People hate fat people. And I've seen it many times, even on my own channel. People commenting just the most absurd, hateful thing towards fat people, showing absolutely zero sympathy for what they've been through, with their trauma, anything else. People have told me that, you know, they're done with my channel and they're done with me because we're just a bunch of fat people sitting around patting each other on the back for being fat. Literally, somebody told me that. And I think it's stupid because I call out obesity all the time. At no point have I said it's okay to be fat, that we're just patting each other on the back for being fat. But the fact that I sympathize with overweight people because I've been there, I've dealt with the trauma, I've dealt with the aftermath of that, and I'm working on changing my life, and I understand where you've been and why you're there and everything else, they can't stand it. They can't stand it whatsoever. They don't think fat people deserve any sympathy, any care, any understanding, because they did it to themselves. So I understand, yeah, people hate fat people. And it's that hatred and that treatment that gets people running in the opposite direction. It does not make them want to lose weight and get healthy. It makes them want to run in the opposite direction. I mean, that's just true. I get that part. But on the other side, it's like, you're trying to do yourself a favor here by joining this movement and saying you're an unapologetic fat girl. Well, it's like, you need to apologize to yourself for that. You're not hurting anybody else. I mean, it almost seems like this attitude of, well, I'm going to show them, I'm going to be fat, and I'm going to be happy, and I'm going to like it, and I don't care what anybody says about it. It's like, you're not hurting anybody else there, dear. You're hurting yourself. You are harming yourself. And if you say that you're happy and you love yourself being fat, you don't love yourself. Because being obese is a form of self-harm. You are harming yourself. And you're going to get to a point when it's no longer going to make you happy. I mean, it's a superficial happiness because you're trying to get confidence in yourself. But at the end of the day, if you look deep down, you are not happy. You know you're harming yourself. You know the consequences are going to catch up to you eventually.
Abby, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, I'm so glad you're here. Brooke, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Say hi to Robin.
Hi, Robin. How are you? Nice to see you. Hi, Abby.
Abby, you're saying how you feel about yourself shouldn't be a function of your body type, body size, whatever. And you don't disagree with that one bit, correct?
I champion that. I celebrate your point of view. I think it's very powerful.
And you say you've always been bigger, but at one point you did lose 100 pounds.
I did lose weight, but, you know, it was through extreme dieting, through extreme weight loss, exercising, through calorie counting, and I didn't get to live life as a normal kid because I was stressed hanging out with friends because I was worried that we were going to eat something that I couldn't eat. My entire life was surrounded around weight loss, and it really developed an unhealthy relationship with not only exercising. I was afraid of exercise because I thought it was a punishment, and I was afraid of eating.
I've said many, many times, and I'll say again today, body image and self-image vary together. They shouldn't, but generally they do.
That's right.
Why do you feel people don't talk about obesity enough?
I think there's a lot of shame related to it. We might as well get this out on the table now, although it's still painful for my family. I lost my brother this summer, my younger brother. He died of obesity in his late 40s, died in his sleep, had no pre-existing medical conditions. My family is still not talking about it. It's a very delicate dance for me, considering the space that I'm in. It shouldn't have happened. It's very sad. It's very painful. So I'm personally committed to it. I'm personally dealing with it, healing, growing, trying to find the right words and the right narrative to help people and honor my family and respect their privacy. But I'm living that right now. And there's an element of denial, shame, and just not knowing how to navigate that.
I mean, it's very interesting that her family is not talking about it. It's almost like the unspoken elephant in the room. It's like they know why he died, and I'm so sorry. If you're watching this, I'm so sorry that you lost your brother. I'm so sorry to hear that. It's very scary, the fact that you could die in your sleep in your 40s due to obesity-related complications, sleep apnea, stuff like that. Like, many of the people on My 600-Pound Life, like, they tell you straight up, like, I go to bed at night not knowing if I'm going to even wake up in the morning. And when they do wake up, they're kind of surprised that they even woke up. Because you don't know. You just don't know. I mean, that's really sad. It's very scary, too. Like, that's another hidden danger that people don't realize. Because she just said that he didn't have any medical complications whatsoever. No diabetes, no blood issues, no high blood pressure, nothing like that. No medical issues. But he died at 40, or in his upper 40s, due to obesity-related issues. So, stop coming at me and saying obesity has no health issues. Because it does. Even if you're healthy right now, it doesn't mean you're going to wake up tomorrow.
Knowing how to talk to the younger children in our family about the steps that we can take to try to be better, to try to get better, to try to avoid that. It's scary.
And how much of this, doctor, is a genetic predisposition?
The understanding currently is that it's more to do with environmental triggers, the food environment, physical activity, even things like air pollution and chemical contaminants in the environment that are endocrine disruptors and promote obesity. So genetic factors are very, actually, small contribution overall.
And when we do talk about genetic contribution, for the most part, that talks about who can be obese, not who will be obese, correct?
That's right.
I mean, yeah, that's a big part of it. Like, so many people use the excuse, oh, it's genetics. There's nothing I can do about it. I was born this way. I was always big my whole life. Well, yeah, so was I. But like you just said, a medical professional just said, very, very small percentage of obese people, sorry, have a genetic predisposition to it. Very small number. And the vast majority of it is environmental triggers. It can be pollution. There could be a lot of things that interact with your body, with your hormones, cause chemical reactions, and make it harder to lose weight. I don't think environmental problems cause people to gain 100, 200, 300 pounds. No, that's not what I'm saying. But it can be a trigger that makes it harder to lose weight. And so when you try a diet and you end up plateauing and just giving up because you don't think it's working and everything else, like that's all part of it.
Right. So we have genes that can predispose us. It's not like having a gene for curly hair or brown eyes. It's
you had to bring up hair, didn't you? Just had to go there.
Sorry about that.
There are some things that, are predetermined, and then there are some things that are predispositions, and what you do, the choices you make, can determine it. And I feel your pain. Robin can attest. Everyone in my family is morbidly obese, and I've had 2 nephews over 500 pounds. We buried one within the last year at a young age, and another the year before. That was his little brother. Robin, why do you think you had such a massive response when you two sat down and talked about this?
We really connected, first of all, because I had just lost our nephew, and Brooke had just lost her brother. And so for the very same reason, because of obesity. So we really connected over that. And then because we both believe in the importance of exercise, and I told Brooke, I said, I grew up with my mother not being obese, and so I never heard in our home growing up, I never heard the word fat or I'm overweight, I need to work out. So in my home and in my life, working out was just so I could fit into the right size. I had 3 older sisters, and so it was really more about appearance. And it took my mother's sudden death while I was talking to her on the telephone of heart disease to allow me to see fitness in a different way, because it was always about appearance. And because my mother never spoke of it in a negative way, I thought I could see it in a completely different way. I related so well then to everything Brooke was saying, because she's very educated. She has so much knowledge about fitness and the importance of it. And I said, the day my mother died, I saw it completely in a completely different way. I saw, okay, fitness is about being healthy and living a long life, not about how you look in a pair of jeans or in a different dress. It's all about health.
I mean, yeah, that's very interesting too, because a lot of the people on the fat positivity movement side, like, they're doing it for appearance reasons. They're tired of the so-called toxic diet culture. They think that they can be beautiful at any size. They're tired of being looked down upon. They want people to love them despite their size and everything else. So a lot of them on that side of it are so caught up in appearance and trying to make themselves look beautiful, trying to be a fat model and this and that. And it's like, but they deny the science behind it for that reason. It's like they're so caught up in their own appearance, trying to say that they can look good and there's no problems and everything else, but they completely deny the whole science of it. And that's why I called Fat Sapphic Bro, I called them ignorant in that video, because they constantly spouted off incorrect scientific evidence that there's nothing wrong with obesity and that there's no connection between the scale and health, when there absolutely is a connection.
Next, a former mental health counselor who says she spent years of her life helping others, but now, at nearly 500 pounds, can't seem to help herself. We'll add her to this conversation after the break.
All right, I'm going to stop here, and I'll put part 2 up tomorrow. I hope this isn't too long. My editor, the editing software that I have will not allow me to um, edit larger pieces. Maybe I need a new software. I don't know. But anyways, I will let you guys go for right now. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it really spurred some thought. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this, and I'll see you guys with part 2 tomorrow. God bless you all. Yeah.